all I could think was, this is something you would do to people you don't like. This is something you would do to people whose credibility you wanted to undermine. But I never felt like you guys were guilty of doing clickbait. I felt like somebody in the administration has totally dropped the ball here. Why would they tell you guys there was something new or noteworthy or celebratory or in any way to show in these binders with the label on them if there weren't? And to this moment, I don't understand, Liz, whether it's because Pam Bondi was negligent in making sure, like, what's exactly in this binder, and does she know there's actually nothing new? You're about to humiliate people who care about you, or because she had some other motive. I don't know.
The only part of the story that I didn't tell that day was the part about Pam Bondi bragging about making that cover sheet. And maybe I should have told that right then and there, because maybe that would have made it obvious that Pam Bondi should have been fired on the spot for what she did. The only explanation that I can think of, and this is an explanation that is based on a pattern of Pam Bondi's behavior, is that she wasn't telling the truth. Not necessarily because she's corrupt and trying to hide the contents of the Epstein files, but because she's click thirsty, because she was more interested in making these big promises on Fox News, being a Fox News star and a mega champion. And she got out over her skis, promising things that she hadn't verified. If I'm President Trump, I am looking at what Attorney General Pam Bondi has done to the base. He has lost his administration, even though he had nothing to do with this. His administration has lost a tremendous amount of goodwill with voters because people care viscerally about the Epstein files. They care deeply about this, partially because these are grisly crimes that were committed against children, but also because this represents justice. We have been harmed so many times by the deep state, whether it's parents being told we're terrorists because we didn't want trans ideology and critical race theory being indoctrinated into our children, whether it's being censored on social media or arrested outside of the Capitol because we had questions about the 2020 election. We have been vilified and demonized and targeted and subject to violence. And we voted for President Trump because he promised justice. Justice does not mean memory holing all of these bad things, this harm that was inflicted on us. It means finding the people who committed the crimes, charging them with those crimes, holding them accountable in a court of law, and sending them to prison for what they've done. She is telling us, ignore the evidence, the anomalies, the suspicious, fishy things surrounding Epstein's operation and his person and his connections and his death, and instead believe me. Without evidence. She's telling us to ignore what's before our very eyes and believe her instead with no evidence. And Megan, there is not a politician in this world that you should extend that amount of blind faith towards.